Welcome friends to a new session on the course School Organization, Administration and Management. This session is a continuation of the essential records to be kept in a school. In this session, we will discuss about the uses of various school records such as stock register, acquittance register, teaching manual, service book, student profile, cumulative record, contents of a cumulative record, and need and purpose of cumulative records. First, let us see the stock register. The whole stock of the school is entered in a register called the stock register. It contains the record of all the immovable property of the school. Whenever any equipment or furniture or any other item of a more or less permanent nature is purchased for the school, it is duly entered in the stock register. Such an entry mentions the name of the article, its quantity, its price, date of purchase, name of the firm which supplied it, and the authority ordering its purchase. In case of different departments, say physics, chemistry, or geography department, there are separate stock registers which are maintained by the concerned subject teacher. In the stock registers, each page has a number of columns as date from whom received, quantity received, rate, total amount spent, issued if any, balance, remarks, etc. Usually one item is entered on one page. At the top, name of the item with specifications is given. In the case of consumable stock register, consumption is shown date wise and initialed by in charge of that subject. Whenever an article gets unserviceable or gets damaged after use, it is destroyed or auctioned and written off with the permission of the headmaster. A physical verification of the entire school property is done annually on the basis of the record of stock register. It shows which articles are missing, which needs repairs, and which are unserviceable. In addition to the main stock register, there will be stock registers for the laboratories, library, and sports materials. Now we shall see the acquittance register. Acquittance is a written receipt attesting settlement of a receipt of a debt. It shows salaries paid to teaching and non-teaching staff, number of working days for which a teacher has been employed, temporary deductions of provident fund, income tax and any other deductions. It is the official record of any amount received by way of salary, arrears, or any other kind of wages or allowances. The signatures of the teachers and other supporting staff obtained against their names on duly affixed revenue stamps. The next is the teaching manual. For attaining curriculum objectives by utilizing textbooks, teacher's handbook, other tools and situations, the teacher has to make an idea about how he or she will create learning situations within the available time. This planning is very important for the effective classroom transaction. It helps the teacher to design and develop various classroom activities and processes. There are two levels of planning, unit plan and daily plan. Unit plan is the pedagogic analysis of a particular unit, whereas daily plan is a plan for classroom processes for each day. The planning note for one day based on this is known as teaching manual. Teaching manual has to be prepared by each teacher and its advanced preparation shows how much a teacher is prepared to teach. It gives clear and concrete information on what a teacher plans to teach the students at a period of time. There shall be two columns in the teaching manual as process page and a response page. Activities administered by the teacher need to be assessed in the response page so as to change strategies in the learning environment. It clearly shows the teacher's level of preparedness and his or her level of competence. It reflects estimate of academic work which a teacher expects to accomplish in each subject based on number of lessons he or she will have during each term. It assesses head teachers or educational administrators to know what is being taught in school. It assists in enforcing accountability and continuity in the work of school. It clearly shows teacher adherence to the syllabus and how and when the work is done. It is a means of evaluating teachers' competency and efficiency. Next, let us see service book. Service books contain the record of the official life of every employee of the institution. On the basis of this record, matters concerning leave, transfers, promotions, superannuation, etc. are determined. It is therefore very essential to make correct and complete entries in it. These entries should tally with other records of the employee. The entries mention biodata of the person, his or her date of appointment, post and scale of pay, permanent home address, qualifications, leave taken with or without pay, annual increments, placement in a new grade, transfer, efficiency bar crossed, suspension, degradation or any other punishment, promotion or reward, reinstatement, etc. Service in other institutions and departments should be got duly entered in the service book and verified by the competent authority. No change in the entries is permissible except with the permission of the competent authority. Service books of the employees of high and secondary schools are kept in the custody of the headmaster and those of the primary and middle schools respectively with the block education officers and district education officers. The first page of the service book contains the following information: name, residence, date of birth by Christian era as nearly as can be ascertained, educational qualification, exact height by measurement, personal mark for identification, father's name and residence, left hand thumb and finger impression, signature of the teacher, date of entry into service and signature of the headmaster. From the next page, the name of the post, temporary or permanent, monthly pay, date of increment, details of leave account, etc. are written neatly. The entries of the first page should be renewed or reattested at least every 5 years except in the case of fingerprints. Custody of service book. A service book should be maintained for a government servant from the data of his or her first appointment to government service. It must be kept in the custody of the head of the office in which he or she is serving and transferred with him or her from office to office. Attestation of entries in service book. The head of office can delegate to a subordinate gazetted officer under him or her power to attest in the service book of all gazetted officers for the maintenance of which he or she is responsible. Nature of entries in service book. Every step in a government servant's official life should be recorded in the service book and each entry must be attested by the head of office or if they themselves as the head of office by their immediate superior. Service book opening, writing and verification. A service book must be maintained for every full-time government employee. The head of office is responsible to open service book in duplicate immediately after the joining of an employee. One copy shall be kept under the custody of the head of the office. Another copy shall be given to the employee. Every step of an employee's service life must be recorded in the service book. Each entry is also to be attested by the head of the office. As per the direction of the head of the office, the employee shall submit the service book every year for verification. After necessary entry, the same will be returned to the employee. Both the copies of the service book shall be treated as original. Certain information are to be entered in a service book, like the date of birth of the employee, statement whether medical and police verification reports are satisfactory, statement whether name or surname has been changed. Copy of nomination for death gratuity, group insurance, GPF, etc. should be attached with the service book. Family details as per Appendix 1 of DCRB rules is to be written. When an employee is transferred, up-to-date entries is to be made in the service book and is also transferred to the head of the office of the new place of posting. As such, the service is to be verified by the head of the office up to the date of last pay drawn from his or her office. Head of the office should show the service book to the concerned employee and obtain signature from the employee every year. In case of transfer to foreign service, the head of the office or department shall send the service book to the audit officer as the Auditor General may prescribe. No entry is to be attested while on foreign service by any authority other than the audit officer. After retransfer to the government service, the service book is again sent to the audit officer for necessary noting. Now we shall see the student profile. A student profile provides a summary of information about the student's academic and social progress. It clearly presents what a student actually is. This profile gives a clear picture about the personal data, family background, health information, scholastic and non-scholastic development, personal traits, etc. It is to be kept by the class teachers. Developing a student profile helps to provide a deeper understanding of an individual's unique interests, styles and abilities. By gathering information from a variety of sources, teachers are in a better position to make educational decisions that will enhance a student's development. It is necessary that the school should have as much information on every one student as possible without violating their privacy. While writing a paragraph describing the strengths and needs of the students, we should describe what the student does well, and it does not need to be limited to academics. If the child has good rapport with teachers or gets along well with peers, it is appropriate to mention that in the paragraph. The statement should address academic deficits as well as physical or mental limitations that make it difficult for the student to participate fully in the educational process. While writing a paragraph describing how the student's disability affects their involvement in the educational setting, we could address curriculum modifications and teaching accommodations in this paragraph. Modifications are changes to what is being taught to the student or the level at which it is taught in relation to his or her peers. Accommodations do not change what is being taught or the level, but instead provide strategies to make the task easier for students to accomplish. For example, a visually impaired student may be provided textbooks with extra large print. A student with an orthopedic impairment may be given copies of class notes or outlines rather than being required to write them out. While writing a paragraph assessing the student, list current test data results, including the names of the assessments, the date on which the assessments were given, and the students' scores. Also, list the student's current grade in each academic class. While writing a paragraph describing progress toward annual goals, mastery and present level of performance, we should also include any comments or concerns expressed by the student, his or her teachers or parents. The importance of student profile includes: it provides current and first-hand information on the student's situation. It can have the data submitted by the student as well as information supplemented by staff members. It will be used as a reference in case of any emergency. It makes it easy to locate students' relatives during emergency. Next we shall see cumulative record. Cumulative record cards have been introduced in the centers of learning to collect information about the child during his or her student career. The cumulative record refers to all records which make provision for the collection of valuable, useful and reliable information about a student over a period of years with a view to help him or her in their student life and at the time of leaving it in the manifold problems of educational, vocational, personal and social nature. The student can get much help for achieving maximum development in life. Students' cumulative record folder is a storehouse of information on students' cognitive, affective and psychomotor development. Cumulative record cards contain complete and comprehensive record of the student indicating his or her biodata, date of admission, progress from year to year, attainment in various subjects and activities, intelligence, aptitude, interest and information from school to school. It is a document in which the relevant information about a particular student at one educational institution is recorded cumulatively. This gives a complete and growing picture of the individual student, which helps them during their long stay at the school and at the time of leaving it in the solution of their manifold problems of educational, vocational, personal and social. It follows the pupil from class to class and school to school. It provides an opportunity to have a comprehensive picture of the all-round development of the personality of the child. It is a very important record which should be maintained in every school. In view of the growing importance of cumulative records, the Secondary Education Commission recommended that these should be a common feature of all schools all over the country. The nature of cumulative record card. It is a fact of experience that every child grows and develops as an entity. We can understand the behavior and personality makeup of the child at a given time if we can collect information about the child in the light of past activities. The most important characteristics of such information is comprehensiveness and continuity. It reflects continuous assessment of the student's educational or academic progress. It also reflects a student's performance in extracurricular activities. It could be useful by researchers on both child development study and school management. It keeps the whole history of a child during their school life. The contents of a cumulative record card. The contents of a cumulative record card are: the first one is general considerations. The information should be collected on the basis of the growth and development of the students. The type of information to be included should be determined on the basis of the needs of the schools, and the information should be collected on different aspects of the personality of the child. Second is types of information. The types of information to be included in the record card are: identification of data, under which the first one is data collected from environment and background. Data is collected from home, neighborhood, influences, socio-economic status of the family, cultural status of home, number of brothers and sisters in the family, and the educational background and occupations in the family. Second is the psychological data. Tests of intelligence, aptitude and interests, personality, emotional and social adjustment and attitudes. Third is the physical data. This includes weight of the body, height, physical disabilities, illnesses, etc. The fourth is the educational data. This includes previous school records, educational attainments, marks obtained in the school, school attendance, long absences, etc. Now, the cumulative record card should include activities in the physical, intellectual, artistic, social and recreational fields which have a bearing on the student's educational and vocational growth. Taking into consideration the individual's life goals, ideals and aspirations, data should be collected on educational and vocational preference and plans of the student. In short, we can say that the cumulative record is a file of general school information that contains grades, attendance, discipline, standardized assessment reports and other information from a student's educational career. Parents have the right to inspect the file and have copies of any information contained in a cumulative file. When parents want to know why their child is struggling in school, the student's cumulative file is one of the documents they examine. Next, we shall see the need and purpose of educational records. The cumulative record card is needed because it helps a teacher and counselors to understand the child and to present a developmental picture of the child. It enables the teacher to assess the child in the solution of the manifold problems which confront them during the stay and at the time of leaving it. A thorough review of a student's records involves analysis of his or her entire educational history. So, evaluators try to get records from any previous schools the child may have attended. Information from the student's files may provide important details that help examiners understand why the child is having learning problems in school. Such information is especially helpful if the child is too young to articulate what the problem is and parents and teachers are confused as well about their learning disabilities. It should also be remembered that a cumulative record card is not meant to be a tool in the hands of authorities for taking certain decisions about the child on certain matters of his or her life, nor is it meant to serve just as a means of measurement and assessment. Now, we shall see the contents of a child's cumulative record. In addition to the information already mentioned, the cumulative files typically contain a history of programs children have attended, previous support services provided to children or their family members, and an educational performance history. Cumulative files also feature the names of past teachers who may be available for further research on the student's educational history. Such files also contain records about the number of times a student may have changed schools and the student's health records such as immunization records. So, this information can shed light on why students struggle, but it may not reveal whether a student has a learning disability that requires special education services. We will now discuss the uses of cumulative record card. The first one, it helps the teachers and counselors to identify the needs of the individual students and understand their manifold problems. Second, it helps counselors to know the strengths and weaknesses of individual students and deal with them. Third, it aids teachers and counselors to discover special abilities in students which should be developed. Fourth, it furnishes suggestions and reasons as to why certain students are not adjusted to the school situation. Fifth, it contains data which may be useful in conferring with certain students about behavioral problems. Sixth, it provides information which is helpful while talking with students about their achievements in schools. 7. It furnishes assistance to counselors in aiding students to plan their high school and post high school courses to study intelligently. 8. It is valuable in assessing the students' occupational insight and in aiding them to become realistic in their vocational planning. 9. It provides much of the raw material which is used in the making of case studies of certain problem students. 10. It is of use in conferences with parents about the achievement and school adjustment of their children. And lastly, it forms an excellent basis for reports to colleges, schools and prospective employers. We shall now discuss the classroom uses of cumulative record. 1. When a teacher wants to make a systematic appraisal of a student for the purpose of seeing trends in their physical, intellectual, social and emotional development. 2. When a teacher wants to understand a behavior or discipline problem in the class. 3. When a teacher wants to confer with parents about their child's progress and also failure. 4. When a teacher wants to group the students for instruction within a class and aims at more individualized instruction. 5. When a teacher wants to find out children with special abilities or handicaps to provide instruction which accords with their individual needs. 6. When a teacher wants to identify students who need special diagnostic study and remedial instruction. 7. When a teacher wonders about discrepancies between potentiality and achievement. 8. When a teacher wants to make reports to parents. Now let us summarize what we have just discussed. The school is a very important public institution. In the matter of its effective functioning, it is answerable to several bodies, agencies and authorities. From the discussion, it is clear that the cumulative record card is an important document to be used in every school. In order to develop a good recording system in the school, there must be close cooperation among the members of the staff in a common school. Teachers should also be provided with adequate time for filling in the record card. A school headmaster should be resourceful enough to get all that he or she needs for organizing an ideal record system in the school in order to help the students in their all-round development. So, school records are official documents and files containing essential information of actions and events which are kept and preserved in the school office for utilization and retrieval of information when needed. In this session, we dealt with the stock register, acquittance register, teaching manual, student profile, service book, cumulative record, the contents of a cumulative record and the need and purpose of cumulative records. Thank you for watching this session on school records and registers. We will meet again with a new topic. Till then, have a good day.